I want to welcome everybody. Welcome back to another episode. It's been a minute, and I've got a special guest with me today, Mr. Jason Thompson, and he is a
Yeah.
logistics professional. Jason, would you please introduce yourself?
Hey, how you doing? My name is Jason Thompson. I reside in Lawrenceville, Georgia, originally from Orlando, Florida. But I've been in logistics, the department of just managing in and out freight for about 15 years, working with different brokers, working with companies, and presently working with a company now. So that's how I got introduced to yourself. So that being said, um, people that's panicking in the logistics or the freight space right now, don't worry because it's not going nowhere. It's been here for years. It'll be here after we are dead and gone. So don't get afraid. Just get your business together and get 10 toes down and go full stream ahead. But if you want,
Absolutely, absolutely.
I don't want to talk over you, but if you wanted me to say more, I can. But I just figure I'd break
Yeah.
the ice with that introduction and let them know
Okay.
about my background. I have a associate degree in applied science with a couple credit classes away from getting my double ET degree. That's electrical engineer. I was going to
Excellent.
Morris Brown when I first came to Atlanta. Ended up going to the Wright Institute in Decatur, and I got my degree there. Um, Possibly I could go back. It just depends on if I want to commit to that. Right now we're in weird space right now. So right now the trade jobs are kind of excelling to the roof, and the transportation is going to be. I think it's one of those things like cryptocurrency, and it's kind of like stock. If you play it right and you get the right kind of customers, the right kind of commitment, you can blow up
True.
as a broker. You can blow up as a driver as well, or owner operator. It just depends. Depends on how well you build your network.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, curiosity, how did you get into transportation logistics? Was it by choice? Was it just by like, hey, left over
Well,
here, went over here?
I got a couple of my family members. They're drivers. My dad was a driver for 25 years in Orlando. My nephew is currently a driver, and my cousin. But make a long story short, how I got into it. I had a couple of friends of mine that have box trucks. I introduced you to one of them, supervisor of mine, as well as some
Mm-hmm.
coworkers. And I was very intrigued on
Mm-hmm.
how it works. How do you make the money? How everything works? First in, first out freight, building relationship with customers, and just got real curious. Like you can actually make some money in this stuff. So then I
Mm-hmm.
started doing dispatching for one of my friends, and I saw the volume and I saw how it worked. Didn't really know how it worked, and then I started figuring out the illegal things. I got introduced to illegal things first. What I mean is double brokering,
Please
but
elaborate.
but when you double broker and you're sharing insurance
Yes.
and numbers, and you find out those things, and then you like, oh, then they show you how you can get around stuff to make more money. And when I got
Mm-hmm.
introduced, guys were driving 20, 23 hours on the road without team drivers. Some didn't have clocks on their logs, electronic logs.
Mm-hmm.
People
Mm-hmm.
right. So that being said, I just fell in love with how everything works, with the whole transportation thing, like I said. And then a lot of the good people that were piggybacking off the Godfather, grandfather then role,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
they're they're retired. They got all their money. They made millions. And when I say millions, people were making a lot of money on relationships, you know. And now you can't build those relationships because the people so called will take care of you. They're no longer in power. So now you got to kind of
Absolutely.
reinvent the wheel, and you've got to it's you kind of got to know who you know, and they've got to be able to take care of you. So
True.
yeah,
True. So,
I know I'm all
so
over.
I'm curious. Oh no, you good. So I'm curious, 2020, there's been a big shift since 2020. Prior to 2020, those relationships that you were talking about, they were able to be nurtured in a different way. And it was more like that handshake, that introduction, and so forth. Whereas 2020 kind of shifted things because of the COVID situation and the hike in freight rates. Now companies have pulled back. We're in an inflationary period right now. Interest rates are up and so forth. So compared to 2020 freight volumes that you saw and now, would you say they have significantly increased, or are they still the same in your industry that you've seen?
Well, it's a gradually being it's an increase from with COVID. When the COVID hit, it was like, it's almost like the world was put on pause for a second because you was having
Mm-hmm.
drivers killed, you know, just
Mm-hmm.
from going to a truck stop or something, and then people was just, it was and you got a lot of drivers that's not even fit to drive, you know. So and those are the ones you depend on. A lot of times it's not the athletic, transportation is something different. You don't have to run a 4.4 and a 40. You don't have to have a
Mm-hmm.
48 vertical. You just need to know how to drive a truck.
Mm-hmm.
And you get a lot of the older people and the people that's more settled, that's not worried about who's back at the house. Those are the ones that's so committed to what we do. Those are the most committed ones. And I'm just saying that's what I see on my end. But to answer your
Mm-hmm.
original question is that I've seen a slight increase. And like I said, I think it's going to get better because you got a lot of companies that folded, a lot of companies that merged, a lot of companies that
Yeah.
got bought out. And then you got the Amazon that's giving all these good contracts, but you have to have $2 million insurance policy. So it's ways to get around it. Then you have, even with the box trucks are coming back, you got guys now, you got some of the young guys that's willing to go get it at
True
all
that.
costs.
Mm-hmm.
They're not joining the military. They get them a box truck and going half on the, and even the lease game is crazy. They're leasing box
Mm-hmm.
trucks. So this game,
True.
this business is very aggressive, but you have to
Mm-hmm.
be in it to win it. You know, and that's the thing is, my whole thing is if you get in it now, you'll see profit, but you won't see a real profit where you building your brand and really saying
Mm-hmm.
that, oh, take care of household with this income, unless you 2.5 years in, because then you can figure out you did your taxes, you got your insurance stuff and coming in, you can look at your overhead, and you can determine what you want to pay yourself. Because I think up to five
Mm-hmm.
years you lost. Now, if you take that after you get your losses and all that out of the way, and you really got to start filing your taxes the proper way, then you can see how you pay yourself and what you're gonna have to take out for taxes. Because once those 1099s go in, you want to be hit with an audit, have to shut your business down just when you get rolling. So a lot of that
True.
has to be
True.
play as being an owner operator. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I talk your head off. I've been waiting for us to do this combo situation. My brain, my thing is, I talk to a lot of, like I say, you being a broker as well, and I used to work for a broker, and
Mm-hmm.
I tried to get a job with another broker, and it's one of those things is where it's been a dispatch and kind of looking over shoulder as a broker. You
Mm-hmm.
understand how the game goes. You want to be a people pleaser. You want to make sure your people are taken care of, but at the same time, you want them to understand that it's a business, and you have to do it,
Absolutely. Yeah.
you know, and and
Absolutely.
you're more relied on them more so than they're relying on you, especially if you're trying to drive, dispatch, and train, and in the back of your mind, it's a 24-hour process, 7 days a week
Mm-hmm.
work for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to make sure that you're 3 steps ahead of the game. We don't even want to get into fuel costs, insurance costs. You can't pay yourself if you ain't got no insurance. You can't pay yourself if you ain't got no fuel. So a lot of times you got to put yourself last. When you're trying to learn this game. Because a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people driving out here. and there's like no zero tolerance for error. You know, they're saying, "Hey, man, I
Mm-hmm.
need to get checked. I need to get with this what's it called? Help me out here, Jewel. The factoring company, so I can get
Mm-hmm.
all it back. I can't wait 35 days to get a check. I can't wait four to
That's
five
right.
days. I need that money in 2 days. And
Yeah.
so and I feel them. You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
it's not,
I think
not
you know, and you're touching on something because I think what I'm noticing from a lot of the owner operators is they don't understand their expenses. They don't understand their costs. They got the truck, they jumped in it, and they hit the load boards, and then they just started driving. And with the shift that's happening, like you were saying, you have to understand your costs so that when they come to some like your company to say, hey, I want to pull some loads, they need to understand how to bid with you, how to present that proposal to say, I want to be on your team to help your company carry and
right,
align themselves with what your mission is, as opposed to just coming in a one and done and then floating around. Now
right,
from what I'm seeing in the industry is the owner operator has got to align themselves as a partner, not as a lone wolf. And with the shift
right,
in rail and how companies are putting it on the rail first and then they're moving out, these are things that are going to be shifting the industry because instead of picking up from the ports and driving it all the way to the other side of the United States, they're going to be picking it up from the warehouse or and then driving it a short distance. And they need to build those lanes out. And so that's where they need to start building those relationships with companies like yourselves and get in with the logistics managers. That's one of the reasons why I'm glad we're having this conversation because you be at the front door and you see a lot of the truck drivers that come in. I mean, you and I used to work together on a, as a, you were my customer and I would pick up and so forth. But I had to talk to you sometimes, point of contact to get things done. And I think that truck drivers need to understand when they walk into that company to make that delivery, that pickup, that logistics manager is paying attention and he can be a friend or he can be a foe. Um, and you can get a lot of knowledge from somebody like yourself in helping them get either deeper into the organization or even identifying some other potential possibilities. But they have to nurture that. They have to learn to articulate what they want, learn to communicate on a level that you don't mind presenting them to the front because it's a reflection of you. When you bring somebody in and they drop the ball, that doesn't look good on you and your position.
yeah.
And these are
And
things that, go ahead.
and like I said, a lot of and that has happened several times. I've been in two different places, and I've heard uh,
Mm-hmm.
uh people will come in and they burn bridges for other own operators. We've had guys with dedicated routes that said, "Hey, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and I've got this many trucks in my fleet," and whoop. And then all of a sudden,
Mm-hmm.
they're not there. We're missing shipments. We got holidays
Mm.
coming up, no trailers. We're missing
Yeah.
delivery dates. And then they all fly in at one time, and then you got live load these guys. And then like I said, then I've been broken for another company, and they're like, "Hey man, get on the phone and call such and such," and
Mm-hmm.
you call a driver, and it's not even nothing pertaining to the business at hand. It's a personal dispute or something's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of people mess it up for a lot of people that's trying to just get in the door. You have
Mm-hmm.
guys say, "Hey, I don't want to go with this route. I want to go with a company that's got more years up under their belt, that's got a pedigree that's saying, hey, look what we do. Look how many times we got. Look how many drivers we have." And it kind of hurts the own operator when he might have three good drivers, but we don't want to give him that opportunity because of past practice. So
Exactly.
a lot of times, like I said, me and you discuss this all the time. Whether you come in as your company yourself or you work for a company, when you come in, you represent that company at your discretion. Because when I see
Mm-hmm.
you, if you got on, uh, I say Pepsi, I figure you the spokesman for Pepsi. So
That's
if
it.
if a bad reflect from you, I hate Pepsi, you know. And so
Mm-hmm.
so my a lot of companies, and a company that you own is when you get introduced to a company, a Fortune 500 company, and pretty much the business is already taken care of. All you got to do is play your
Mm-hmm.
part, and you don't want to mess those
Exactly.
pieces. And if anything, you
Mm-mm.
want to make they remember who you are, just in case you want to work there or you want to do some business outside who you work for. Or like saying, just getting the information. Information is the key. Knowledge is the key. Once you get the information, it depends on how you're gonna use it. And like
Yes.
I said, my whole thing is people got to be mindful that when they come into a place of business, and that's exactly
Mm-hmm.
what it. You just got to handle your business because
Yes.
and we're in this different space right now when people got to be mindful of, hey, you might walk into a blessing and you blew it,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
times, gotta you gotta be like when you're out there doing your own thing, you gotta be on point. You gotta be very on point.
Absolutely.
You gotta be.
Absolutely. What comes to mind is always selling. You're always selling yourself in some form or fashion, no matter where you go. And I think sometimes owner operators just don't think of that, or even drivers, company drivers don't even think of that. They just look at it like, no, I'm just going to pick up and delivery. But there's a
Right,
sales element that's happening through your demeanor, your behavior, your customer service, how you're handling an issue, situation. You're selling your company in some form or fashion, whether you're selling that you're reliable, whether you're selling your brand and saying, hey, we can do what you need to get done no matter who pulls up. If I'm on the route or if anybody else is on the route, we're going to take care of you at all times. And that's a sales element. And I think a lot of times people don't realize that they need to sell at all times, when even as a driver, an owner operator. When you pick up the phone and call that broker, you're selling what your truck can do. You're selling your
right,
reliability.
right,
You're selling the fact, your capacity, the fact that you're going to be ready with fuel, your insurance breakdowns, all that. You've got to let people know you're dependable through that sales process. So that way, the next time they need something, they're calling you. And one of the things I think that I have also been kind of looking at is because I had this question come to me from one of my viewers that said that their freight volumes were low in the Chicago area. And they were trying to figure out, some other ways in which they could build their freight. One of the things I think is important for owner operators or even drivers to do is to create some type of log, whether it be just on a notebook paper, whether it be something in your phone, that you can see your volumes when you're picking up, when you're dropping off, how much you're picking up and how much you're dropping off, because that's going to show you what's happening with that customer.
right.
And
I
it
agree.
don't take much. Get the paperwork, you get in your truck. Because I used to do it on a notepad when I was doing long haul. You get in, you write down everything anyway, picking up how much it weighs and so forth. And if you keep a log of that, you'll be able to see, oh, I see things are dropping off. And then the next time you go to that customer, they can probably have that conversation with you and say, hey, how's things going? I see you guys, it's been kind of trickling in. And you could probably give them an information, you couldn't tell too many, company secrets, but you could probably tell them, oh, this is our slow period. And this way, drivers need to start planning. Well, if they're going to be in this dip, where else can I go to substitute my volume, but still make sure that they're available for you? So if they're planning properly and they're paying attention and keeping the data, because data is key right now. It's
Yes,
gold in this industry. Okay. And if you can pull up on a shipper and you can show them, hey, this is what I can do. These are my volumes over the past year. This is the number of breakdowns I've had. This is how much freight I've pulled. This, and this. That speaks volumes to a company like yourself, where you can go and say, yeah, you know what? We can add this person to our roster because they can fulfill this lane right here because I've got this opening that just opened up because XYZ went out of business. So that's
Right.
something else that um, companies, company drivers, or owner operators in particular, I think the bigger companies overall um, have that type of data collection that they're doing because they understand the importance of data. But I think the smaller companies, it's something that they're not used to doing. And if they are used to doing it, they don't know how to do it efficiently or consistently. And it could be as simple as opening up a Google Docs spreadsheet. It could
Right.
be as simple as writing it in a notebook, either or. Having that data is going to be key for sure. Um, One question I would like to ask, as far as when you are evaluating a shipper, or excuse me, a transportation partner, um, what are just some things that immediately you're like, yes or no? You either put them in the yes pile or you put them in the no pile.
And that's from just giving them a contract or going, sending over a
Yeah,
proposal. But,
yeah. So,
here's
you
the
know,
year of service, the region that they deliver in, the cost, are they basically are the where are you willing to go to the customers that our regular customers? Because you have your regulars, so you kind of say, hey, if I send you to Orlando, to take some freight down there, nothing's coming out of Orlando or Florida in general other than produce. Can you do a back haul back to Alabama to pick up something to bring back with us? So it's one of those things
hmm
where these boxes got to be checked, and we can go from you giving a carrier a designated route and say, hey, we're going to use you guys just for this and this only because this is high dollar freight. It can't get
hmm
damaged. Your trailers have to be leak free. Can't get water damage. It has to be on time, and you got to be willing to deliver the freight on time and kind of wait until the customer either opens or you have to take. It's not first come first serve. So it's gonna be one of them
hmm
things. It's gonna
hmm
be react, but you got to get our freight to our customer, error free, and so
Exactly.
it's a lot of things. And like I said, and I'm glad you asked me that because within policies that who I work for currently, and people that I broker for, a lot of questions they ask is, do you have metal side trailers? Do you have wood floors? Do you have this? Do you
hmm
have do you have 53-foot trailers or 48-foot trailers? A lot of this stuff plays in how many trailers you have in your fleet. Can you do a turnaround? Do you work
hmm
weekend? Work over the during the holidays? And a lot of times you have the mercy to get the business. So you pretty much check
hmm
off, and then you just
Yeah.
and and if if the business is good, everybody's gonna eat. Everybody's gonna be approved.
hmm
And like, hey, we'll put it on the board. If you accept it, you can have it. And then like I said,
hmm
the I work at, we work 7 days a week, 365 days. We never close. We took 24 hours, and we have other plants just like that. And we got over 100 plants. And the company that I was working for, and I forgot to tell you about this.
hmm
Yeah, actually, I worked at a drop yard about 5 years ago when I was trying to do some things. I came in as a security guard, and I was working at the post. So, and we did a lot of dropping hooks. Like basically, um, it was secured. It was on Moreland Avenue. I know you're probably familiar with
hmm
Moreland Avenue.
Yep.
It's like maybe 10 drop yards out there, and they're all gated because that's not the real good part of Atlanta right now. But um, it's a guard shack, and you can't get in there without the
Mm.
right. So it ain't like where I work at now. You got a drop yard protected by cameras over there. you might have a truckload of 100 TV. You might have a
Mm-hmm.
truck, some new rims for Giados or something. You might have you got guys over there jumping the gate, popping them locks. So
Mm.
you know, I said all that to say this. All I did was show up to work on time, do my thing, charm them,
That's
high
it.
charm them, and
That's it.
next thing, like, hey man, how much you make doing security? Hey, would you like to come in here and work dispatch with us? And I'm like, I've been working at this place, man. So my thing was the opportunity was there because I looked at it as a job, but I just added my persona with it. You know what I'm saying? So they
Mm-hmm.
it was like, nah, we don't need you just, making sure these guys is coming in and out a lot. We need you in the inside. We like what you bring to the
Yeah.
table. And see, my whole thing is, and that was a career decision. I could have left where I work at now and been over there, but I might be running the whole ship, right now. And I think I probably would have because for them to offer me something like that and me working, just trying to
Mm.
secure their what they got going on, it just spoke volumes about what I bring to the table. And that being said,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, time to time I go over there. I pick my nephew from up out there because he had to drop a load and he came and spend a weekend with us. But I said all that to say this is that the business is there. You just got to be, like I say, you got to be in it to win it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
transportation is one of the things, like you said, your friend in Chicago. You when you put or take that responsibility of being a driver, owner, operator, that's what you are. You
Mm-hmm.
have to move. That truck. They say if the wheels ain't moving, you ain't making no money.
That's
I
it.
know that
That's it.
cliche somewhere in there, but I'm not thinking about it. But a lot of people have to be, knowledgeable of what they sign up for. You know, if you're
Mm-hmm.
in Chicago and all you moving is ice cream and meat, and you want to move something else, you got to make sure your trailer. If I drive on your trailer with a 5,000 pound forklift with products that ain't gonna fall through the floor, your equipment got to be
Exactly.
tall. I don't want to be riding on the back of a trailer that's got three million miles on it. You got to be on
Mm-mm.
top. You can't you can't you can't have a beer budget but want champagne money. You can't do that.
Mm-mm. Exactly. Fact.
And, you
That is
can't
facts.
you can't be want to hang with the big boys and
Mm-hmm.
but you making little boy deals. It just can't happen.
Yeah.
And got
Yeah.
to be my. I'm not here knocking nobody. My thing is that it's like me learning Spanish. I had the opportunity to do that 5, 6 years ago. Even with transportation, I think
Mm-hmm.
out of I am I am a lot more knowledgeable of the game, so I won't make as many mistakes if somebody's just coming in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But that being
Mm-hmm.
said, it's one of those games that it does get old, but you got to go in it with the awareness of what you're preparing yourself for, because
Absolutely.
all these dispatchers and people that's broken now, foreign people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Me, I know you. I personally know you. I've met you.
Mm.
Seen you. So you're not a robot. So, but a
Yeah.
lot of these they talk to me. They're from Yugoslavia. They're from Germany. I be like, what?
Yeah.
And these people are very aggressive. They turn lows like this, like that. They
Mm-hmm.
call where you at? What you can do? I mean, they aggressive. They want these drivers. They want them, and they want them at all costs because that's how they eat. So, you know,
Mm-hmm.
getting with the right broker, and I'm not the right broker, but even when you got guys brokering and dispatch, and they eat,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They
they
are. They are.
and if you don't, and the thing is, if you don't win them over, they're gonna do this new thing they call gaslight. They're gonna gaslight
Yeah.
you. You
Exactly.
gonna get
Exactly.
you gonna get popped,
You
and
got
you
to come in
don't.
with knowledge. They got to come in with knowledge. They can't come in here just thinking that everybody is looking out for them, because 9 times out of 10, they're not looking out for you. They want to get from A to B, but they're not looking out for you. And so if you're coming in unknowing, you can get taken. I mean, you not get paid, uh, run
and
around with, thinking you're
it's just
picking up
like
here and you're supposed to be picking up there. Mm-mm.
and it's just
Go
like
ahead.
you when you dealing with and C.H. Robinson arrive and all these different
Mm,
uh brokers, and these people, you might know one, and one might be giving you a designated route. You eat, boom, and then one gets a promotion. Guess what?
mm-hmm,
One ain't calling you to say, "Hey man, I got a promotion." The email sent through the Sid Robinson the company. One moved on
mm-hmm.
because
That's
one
it.
making he's on to the next level. So your
That's
connect
it.
gone.
Yeah.
So now you like, what
Yep.
happened to where my lows at? No, your lows still there, but now it's somebody in the new seat, new situation, and
Mm-hmm.
they're not it's not their responsibility to check in with you
Mm-hmm.
because they
Exactly.
know.
Exactly.
So
You've got to
it's
nurture those relationships and go, I would say, three people deep is what I like to
yeah,
call it. Three people
it's
deep at the company. So that way if Juan gets promoted, whoever's coming up, you and jumping in that seat, 9 times out of 10 is the person that was behind Juan. Now you go
yeah,
three more people deep.
exactly.
Always keep three people deep so that way you know exactly who's moving where. And that takes just nurturing the relationships, having those conversations when you come in, calling, or just sending a little email saying, "Hey, how's it going? Just wanted to see how you was doing." Those type of things is all about nurturing that relationship. It's
Exactly.
essential. Hmm.
Yeah. And
So
like I said, even with that Chicago, that whole region, that area, that
yeah.
I know a lot about that. They only move meat and ice cream, you know.
Mm,
And they're moving that kind of freight. They're not moving uh uh raw materials, insulate. They're not doing none of that. I mean they are, but they're not volumes of a
it's
Florida,
sparse. Yeah.
a, a Texas, Houston, California. These, they doing it big,
Hmm.
you know. And God forbid, you got a lot of the guys joining with the Teamsters and and that union, that whole thing. And that too is a different thing as well, because the people that you rely on for information and you think they're in your best interest, they're your competition.
Hmm.
And you
Hmm.
think we'll say, hey,
That's it's
I'm
important. Yep.
gonna give you a leg up on what I'm doing,
Hmm.
right? So you taking food off my plate, but I'm gonna still look at you. I'm gonna look out for you, excuse me, but it's gonna be a little delay. I'm gonna make sure I'm
Hmm.
covered, and then I bring you to the party. So
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
say it's a lot of good people out in the world that's doing good things, they're doing big things, but they're looking for a
Hmm.
lot of committed people and good people. It's a lot of good people out there doing some good things, but you got to get in touch with them. Like my mentor always tell me, if you find a good mentor, you're gonna have to pay for them. But a lot of mentors, they're free. But you know what? You
Hmm.
know, free get you right. Free get you.
Exactly. Eh,
What I'm saying,
yeah.
but if you
Yeah.
find a good mentor and you know they legit, they're gonna have their best interest is you and them winning,
Hmm.
because when a person, whether it be male or female, and you say that's the one, and you're willing to
Hmm.
invest in them because they're willing to invest in you. And the biggest thing that we have now, our biggest asset, is our time. You know,
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm trying to get in rooms and stay in the rooms. Right now, I'm not in the room no more, but I'm getting back. That's not because of I've lost my privilege to be in there, but I want to get in there and make my presence known. A lot of times
Hmm.
I don't want to be the one in there and they're like asking me my opinions. I want them to be giving me things. Hey, look at here. I need you to do this. This is so many millions of dollars, $1,000. Can you do this? Can we do this? And like I said, I'm forever grateful for all the partnerships that I've made. I got some great
Hmm.
partnerships out. People know me. People know
Yeah.
how worthy I am. So my thing is that, we're gonna continue to build something until it just gets known that we are the builders. This is what we do. This is not a
That's
facade.
it.
This is a part-time. We're taking the training wheels off. We're about this, and we're gonna stand on it. And my thing is, people have to do their research. My thing is,
Yes.
I did my research on you because I met you. I met you as a physical. I met you. So that being said, it was up to me to actually get to know you, to try to charm you, see what's going on with you, even with
Mhm.
your father passing. My condolences, and just
Thank you.
and as on a personal level, and saying, I
Mhm.
really care about her. So things like that, and you meeting some of my colleagues, and
Exactly.
my whole things is that at some point you got to start, because if you don't never start, you never know where you could have went. So
That's right.
I got a lot of people that's saying, "Hey, do your thing, and we're here for you." And I know how that works. So we'll put it in cement, and hopefully Rose grows out the cement, and we'll see how it works.
I mean, hey, this industry, there's a lot to cover. Okay, I mean a lot to cover. Um, and there's so many different crevices and avenues to explore and to help people understand it's more than just acquiring that freight. Um, and there's always somebody leaving and there's always somebody coming in. So if you start to learn how to put the puzzle together, you can make it last, and you can
Yes,
put food on the table at all times. And thinking about, like you were saying with the Chicago area, if their primary commodities are built in, primarily, frozen meats and so forth, that company has to understand, has to, what I call, farm the land. So when I was in sales with UPS, we were given a specific territory to farm. What that meant was you go out into the streets, you start knocking on doors to understand what companies are out there, what industries they're in, what are they moving, when are they moving it, and learning what their seasons are. You know, all fruit does not grow at the same season. You have some fruit that goes in springtime, some fruits that grow in the fall. So when we farmed that area, our job was to find out what season these shippers moved in. So, at some season, it's not going to be all meat. At some season, it's not going to be all construction. You got to understand and farm the land. So, one thing I think to point out to a lot of you who are watching this, and you're looking at how you can get in and be a part of this industry, start putting on that hat and start farming these areas. And we're going to be dropping some more videos to talk about some tips on how to do that, how to understand what farming's all about, how to speak to your brokers, how to source your brokers, how to even vet your brokers, because not all brokers are good brokers.
right.
You need to really understand not only how to drive that truck from point A to point B, but then there's the back office. And at the end of the day, we're all out here trying to make money. So
Right.
if you don't understand how money is made in this business, that's a problem. And I mean, that's just all there is to it. You have to understand how your money is made. It's not always going to be on that load. There are other ways that you can make that money, but you need to understand how it's made, where it's spent, what your costs are. If you don't know what a P&L is, a profit and loss statement, all of these pieces create the big picture. Okay. And these are the things that are going to make you successful in this industry, or you're going to fail. So
Right.
you want to add anything else, Jason?
Yes, I know this is kind of a conclusion, but since we're going to be piggybacking off each other, and I say that in a good way, um, can you reiterate or reintroduce yourself to some of the viewers that will be on my side and want to know a lot about
But my
the fact,
background,
who you are and where you're from, and how you I mean, I know this for myself, but my thing is that I have my son. He's over in the cut, and he's like, "Oh, I know her." So you want to just introduce yourself, as Jay Z was allow you to reintroduce yourself. Can you do that for me, please?
Absolutely. So my name is Jewell Williams, and I own the company Freight Be Moving. My background is 30 years extensive in transportation logistics. I have worked in ocean freight, air freight, logistics as far as warehousing and distribution. I have done sales, and I have a CDL. I've been driving since 2008. I also have a bachelor's of communication and I have an MBA. So I'm applying everything I've learned with my education, my background to basically help companies, drivers, owner operators move from point A to point B, scale their businesses, and offer some knowledge in what it means to be successful in this industry, not just picking up the freight and moving it from point A to point B. But what I want to push out to you is knowledge that you can build on yourself internally and also build your business so that if you do decide one day you don't want to be a truck driver, you want to go and do something else, you can still take some of these soft skills and apply it into a different industry and be successful as well. So that's my background in a nutshell. Is that good?
That was great, great. And another thing I want to add, like I said, if you can't drive a truck, if you do want to be a dispatch or you want to be somebody inside that's doing the back calls and reconnecting everybody and making sure you do the distance on how everything and you run the software, that's possible. And you can make a nice little profitable business on that because that's 24 hours. Dispatching is 24 hours.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
like, like I said, if you're not the physical specimen for this job, or you can't afford the a $200,000 truck and trailer, there's other ways to get around in this business and be a legit factor. To be a not a peon, but to be a
Mm-hmm.
solid boss, as we would say. So, and then in the freight industry and in the logistics in general, we all are bosses in some manner of form or shape because you have to show some ownership. You have to own it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as my mentors would like to say, don't be a try baby. Don't try. Do, I'm trying.
I like that one.
I'm, you know what I'm saying? So, like they say, and another thing I'm gonna leave you with is that it's been a pleasure, and I'm glad we got this out the way, and there's many more to come. And like I said, I'm not nerd. I just feel so comfortable. You made me comfortable. This is a comfortable
Good,
space. This is good. This is
good,
good space.
good,
And like I
good.
said, I don't expect us to go viral, but I expect people to take heed of what we're saying because we're very
Mm-hmm.
knowledgeable. From the people that you're training to be good
Mm-hmm.
drivers, CDL, without CDL. I think we're building something because we're meeting people that's got contracts with touch freight and other things. And we're going to meet other people. Like I said, I've got connects with other companies, but they want me to uproot what I'm doing and
Mm-hmm.
jump out of, you know, I'm a 50-year-old guy, and it's kind of like, man, I don't know about that. You called me 10 years ago, and I'd have been right there with you. But, you and stuff, and I don't know about that.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming and it's humbling when people think that much of you. And like I said, I've been flattered many of times. And like I said, I know a lot of good people. And like I said, if I was ever in a bind, there's a lot of people that would definitely give me opportunity. And that's all you want. You want
That's
opportunity
it.
to do good work. And if you do good work, it'll pay off. So
Absolute.
for
Absolute.
your my viewers, you do good work and you'll see the work.
There you go. All right. Well, we're gonna wrap this up
All right.
and stay tuned for, like I said, for more videos like this. I hope you guys enjoy. Leave your comments below, and subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to Jason's channel. There's a link in the description. And if you have any questions, drop them below, and we will see you on the next video. Peace.